I'm Mike Inganamort, and I'm proud to represent my home district, the 24th Legislative District. So I grew up in Sparta, and my mom and dad created the kind of childhood for my brother and sister and me that was pretty classic. We would be out of the house all day long. Over the course of a day, we'd probably find ourselves in most rivers and streams and ponds. I think it's what instilled in me a real personal connection to the beauty of Northwest New Jersey. For my parents, contributing to the community was always very important. My entire life, I've always been involved in something in the town where I lived, whether it was as a scout, as a young kid, eventually becoming an Eagle Scout. We've always wanted to be rooted in a community and contributing to that community in different ways. My mom and dad had a philosophy raising my brother and sister and I. They gave us everything in context. Doing well in school meant we'd potentially get into a great college if we chose that path, have a rewarding career. I started at Helen Morgan Elementary School, made my way to Sparta Junior High, and eventually graduated from Sparta High School. I went to school down in Washington, D.C. I went to American University for undergrad, then I went to Georgetown for graduate school. I think I probably learned more outside the classroom than I did inside the classroom, because you are going to school in Washington, D.C. The entire city was a classroom in a lot of ways. And during my time in college, I worked on Capitol Hill. I also worked in the Bush administration for a period of time. And those experiences taught me so much about the enormous federal bureaucracy, but also how a kid from Sussex County could make a difference down there. I really enjoyed my time in college, getting to know people who thought like me and people who didn't think like me. And it was an opportunity to really think about my point of view and philosophy and principles. They were all tested, but my principles largely stayed intact. I went down to Washington, D.C. as what I would call a common sense conservative, and that's how I left. In college and shortly after, I was working for Congressman Scott Garrett, both on Capitol Hill and then in his district office up in Newton, and then later as his campaign manager over the course of 5 years. Really got to see all facets of a congressional office and campaign, how they work together in serving the people in our legislative district. I met my wife Lauren in 6th grade at Sparta Junior High. We met in 6th grade math. I needed someone to help me with my math homework. We didn't actually start dating until high school. We did go to the prom together and all those different things. We did go in different directions for college, but when we were both done for college, we knew we wanted to be back together in the same place. And that's what brought us home to New Jersey. We knew we were always coming home to New Jersey. It was just a question of where. And that brought us to Chester, because Chester reminded us of the type of community that we both grew up in. Our 3 girls are in the schools here. They're active in all sorts of activities. And these days, Lauren and I are basically unpaid Uber drivers who are taking the kids from one practice to another activity to the next. I ran for town council in Chester because I wanted to make sure the community where we were raising our kids was as strong and vibrant and safe and beautiful in 10 and 20 years from now as it is today. I was an absolute outsider. I did not know very many people in town. A lot of people wondered why the heck this young guy was running for town council. But I just made my case directly to the voters. I ended up knocking on 800 doors in town, but it paid off. Was elected to the town council, served for 6 years as a council member, as council president for 4 years, and as mayor. We did a lot of really good things. They're going to have a positive impact for decades to come. I began to develop a sense that the state of New Jersey had a real punishing attitude when it comes to small towns, local governments, and the property taxpayers who foot the bill. So I ultimately decided to run for the Assembly. I have the privilege of representing 32 small towns. I wanted to make sure that small towns, the kind that I was living in and serving in local government in, was represented in state government, and make sure that the state government respects small towns and local decision-making. There are countless examples of the state of New Jersey micromanaging local governments. Small towns are capable of governing themselves. I've seen it firsthand. We could do a much better job than the state of New Jersey. The most important perspective I take with me as a legislator is my family and my kids. Every time I walk up those marble stairs from the caucus room up into the assembly chamber, I'm thinking about Ella, Sadie, and Madeline. Because I want to make sure that I am staying true to not only the 32 towns I represent, but the 3 girls who call me dad. When my kids grow up and they're my age or even older, and they look back at the things dad did in Trenton and in state government, I want to make sure that they can be proud of that. They can be proud of the things dad said. I want my kids to have the same great childhood in Northwest New Jersey that I did. And because I'm stubborn, I am not going to give up on that. It's going to happen in New Jersey. It's going to happen in Northwest New Jersey. And I'm going to work with every fiber of my being to guarantee that for my kids. I am not giving up on New Jersey.